Okay. Hello and welcome to another episode of the SNS Cricket Diaries. Today, it's a very special episode today because I've got with me the other original S of the SNS, Srinivasan, with me all the way down from Australia. Hi, Sri, what's up?
Hey, Sid, good man, very good. Good to be back in this particular podcast after a long time, nearly a year. That too at the height of cricket summer in Australia.
It's absolutely wonderful, Sri, to have you back because you ditched me after we started this channel. But remember, guys, we started this in the 2023 World Cup last year in October, and with Sri, I've had some wonderful episodes in the first few episodes of this show with Sri's incisive detailing to each and every aspect of the game that I've missed for sure in the episodes that I've done since with a lot of other very special guests, and they've all had their unique strengths and capabilities with which they have assessed and evaluated the game. But today I've got Sri with me because we are having the BGT series going on. So Sri, it's apt that you from Sydney is joining me from Delhi. Remember, Sydney is going to host the fifth test match, but today we're going to talk about the fourth test match, the Boxing Day, the big day. Firstly, a Merry Christmas to all of you and Merry Christmas to you, Sri.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well, to all the viewers. It's a very exciting moment we are at right now, man. 1-1. And interestingly, the drawn Gabba tests. Yeah, see how we go from the next one.
Absolutely. So, guys, if you see me here outside, definitely I'm not at my home. I'm at the Delhi Heart, the famous market in Delhi. So, just before we started recording, I was showing Sri some glimpses of this market. I'm sure those who are familiar with Delhi would know this place very well. Although the background that you see has got nothing to do with the market, I'm in a very nondescript sort of thrown away area, and that's the best the best spot I could find for doing this show. But anyway, it's more important is what the content that we're going to speak about. So Shri, getting straight into the topic here. Firstly, the BGT series is locked at 1-1. Before we move into the preview of the fourth test match, I want to have your take on how the series has panned out so far. And do you think if 1-1 is justified going into the fourth test match?
Feel that India is lucky to be that the series is at 1-1 because I think Australia was the better team generally speaking in the Gabba test. Obviously, you got Travis Head and Smith performing so well. I think, unfortunately, from India's point of view, the batting looks very, weak, out of form. Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, those two people, Jaiswal. A lot of these people are not scoring runs at all. That's a big concern if you're an Indian supporter. But for Australia, again, now everything is green because you've got Travis Head leading the pack, just like Bumrah is leading the pack for India. So I think, yeah, it was good to see Smith get into the runs, but generally it seems like the series has been Head versus Bumrah. So whoever does
Right.
well, their team will step ahead. One small point I want to make before I forget this is because generally the bowling, what do I say? India is like a one-man army right now, but with Australia, they seem more balanced. Like Pat Cummins is very incisive, and you got good backing from other bowlers, while India, it's more like one-man army.
Yeah, very well said. So, Sri, when the series began back in Perth, before the series began, it was said that the Aussies had made this schedule keeping in mind India's relative weakness with their batting and the fact that they had Perth, Adelaide, Day Nighter, and Brisbane as three of the venues to start off with. There were talks that probably that was done to make sure that Australia would wrap up the series before going into Melbourne. So many people do say that being 1-1 at the end of the third test match is actually pretty good for India. Do you agree with that, or do you think that India have played below par and are the lesser of the two teams going into the fourth test?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that opinion myself, but I feel that's a bit of a defensive opinion. I mean, if we wind back 20 years before, then that would have been an opinion that we would have heard. But now, after having won two series down under, India and the pundits should be more positive and on the front foot. I mean, Perth Test match, India played really well under Bumrah's leadership. You got Jaiswal and everyone was contributing. But since Rohit has come back, it seems that the old sort of traditional players who are just playing on the basis of their reputation, their baggage has loaded the Indian mindset. Like it's just old school captaincy, old school batting, poking outside the off stump, and just letting your wicket go so cheaply. So I would say that 1-1, India is lucky that it's not 2-1. But having said that, obviously, India is a good team, generally speaking. So we can't discount that. And Melbourne, if we can, like India can bounce back, why not? There's a possibility. But I think for that, a lot has to change. Rohit Sharma, I don't know. I don't know about you. I've heard that he's going to open again. So I'm not sure how Virat Kohli and Jaiswal. Jaiswal is a key point. The opening partnership will decide how this test match goes, say. So both teams' opening partnerships have struggled. So this time, the opening partnership will decide, I feel.
Yeah, I think talking about Rohit Sharma, I want you now to you'll discuss about Rohit and Virat a bit. So firstly, with Rohit, since you touched upon him, he had a miserable series against New Zealand. He's looked out of sorts with his captaincy, with his batting. What do you think, Shri, has gone wrong with Rohit ever since we won the T20 World Cup? You know, he didn't perform in Sri Lanka when he went there. Then the home series debacle against New Zealand. Yeah, are there some only technical issues with him, or do you think that he's aging? And you know, when you age, your reflections, I mean, your reflexes do get weakened a bit. So, do you think that that's what is happening with him, or there's much more to it?
It's a combination of all that. I think his fitness has obviously gone down with age and all that stuff. He's a bit more overweight. That's a general consensus outside of India. Like if you look at Australian media and all that stuff. But what's that done is he's very talented, as we all know, he's a special batsman. But that's just dragged him back a bit. You know, it's just like a car running on deflated tires, which is dragging the power of the car behind. You need the air to be in the right sort of proportion for the engine to run smoothly, take the car smooth. I think that's what's happening with Rohit Sharma. It's dragging him down. His ability is still there, but if you notice, if you give him a flat pitch in South Asia, he would smack the bowling attack. Here, bit of bounce, bit of movement, you know, and bigger boundaries. He's not able to, you know, like flick sixes and all that stuff. It's gonna be tough. So he has to play the waiting game, like more ground strokes, and depend on his, just like maybe you know, Rahul Dravid approached his innings in Australia more like shots at all. So I think Sharma has to move out of the
Right. Right.
So
I mean,
holistic thing. Sorry.
No, so when I say that there's more to it, probably the fact that he's the captain as well, and that's what sort of making him, just wilt under the weight of the pressure of being the Indian captain. Do you think that is also contributing to his batting?
Yeah. I mean, I was watching a very interesting comment by former Indian cricketer Krish Shrikant. He says that will quit or may quit captain, like may quit maybe Test cricket if he fails in Australia. So captaincy is that burden along with age. I think it's a combination. I mean, we were earlier talking about the age factor, fitness factor.
Yeah.
The fact that captaincy is there. I mean, he used to think of him as a very good captain, like especially with Mumbai Indians when he took on the Indian captain. But now I think he's not kept himself at the peak of his fitness, and the game is changing. Especially outside of India, you need a very agile, robust, fit captain, leader, and the leader should be amongst runs if he's a batsman. So, and because he's not amongst runs, his stats in 2024 has been very poor, especially New Zealand, as you mentioned. So that's dragging him down. And as you see, from Perth to the next test match, we were completely two different teams. Like even in we struggled a lot. So it's as if he turned up in the series for India.
Yeah. And when we talk about Rohit, Shri, it cannot be that we can't talk about Virat, no, because in India we have this fan club fight between the Virat FCs and the Rohit FCs. So when we talk about Virat, Shri, he got that majestic 100 at Perth. But again, you know, many people said that was when the team was already in a good position. He came in much later, didn't have to face the new ball. And then ever since then, two test matches, those old problems of flashing outside the off stump have come back. People are saying that he's not giving himself time, just like Steve Smith did. He's not playing any ugly cricket to spend time. He's trying to assert himself more. So, all these sort of nonsense that people talk about. I mean, they have sense in a way, but then what is your take, Shri? What is going wrong with Virat? Not just in the series, but I mean, in general, I mean, for a player of his class, and when we were brought up in the 90s, looking at players like Tendulkar and Dravid, who averaged
Yeah.
on the north of 50. We have been a batting country for a long time, and that's because our batters have been able to rack up those big runs and have career-ending averages of 50 plus. And for someone like Virat to have his average plummet down to 46 or maybe just about 47 from about 54 at one point
Yeah.
of time, what do you think has gone wrong with him in these last 4 or 5 years, and especially in this series you talk about?
I mean, that's a very good point you mentioned. I mean, back then, even 20 years ago, when we were watching our Fab Four playing in
Yeah,
Australia, I think we had a first good series in Australia in 2003-4 after the debacle of 1999.
yeah,
I was so proud of the Indian team at then under the leadership of Saurav Ganguly. Now, whenever we watched statistics on television, when Fab Four were playing during our time, the average was about 53, 54. I think Sachin was always around 54. Dravid
yeah,
was around that mark. So it was always that. And now, if you look at, as you mentioned, Virat Kohli has dropped to 47, 46.5, 47, somewhere there. He's the
yeah,
lowest amongst the Fab Four. So, and if you look at it from 2019, his average is around 36, 37 in Test cricket.
yeah,
And this year he's in the 20s. So it's basically, I mean, if it was any other player, he would not have been in the Test match squad. I mean, especially with that sort of an average, he's not scoring runs. And that 100, I mean, he has the ability, but has he got the consistency and, that resolve to, that fire in him that, used to define
yeah,
Kohli, Mitchell Johnson, and all those people back in
yeah,
2015, 2012, 2013, those times. So that fire is not there. He seems to be at peace and he's smiling and he's matured, he's achieved, he's like a father. I mean, a lot has
mm,
changed from the Virat Kohli of Delhi, that aggressive
yeah,
boy who come out
yeah,
from the Ranji Trophy system, and that defined him, and that's not there because he's achieved, he's made it in life. So that fire is not there, and the ability is obviously there. I mean, he will score the occasional runs, and that will buy
yeah,
him all the insurance for the next few Test matches. But
mm,
because he's so powerful, and in Indian cricket works that way, that the person of that stature, like Dhoni and Tendulkar, it's their call when they retire. I feel Kohli, Rohit should be playing limited overs at the max, like maybe 50 over cricket. International level, I'm speaking, Test match,
yeah.
especially. Give it to the young blood, make them accountable, give it to people who have more fire. So, I mean, Fab Four, look at him, he's got the lowest average. And in the ongoing series, he's just got an average of 20.09, especially after that 100. So it's not that great.
Yeah. Shri, before we move into the preview of the fourth test match, one more slight little topic that we need to talk about is Ravichandran Ashwin. It's actually not slight little. He's been a legend of the game.
Yeah.
And when he announced his retirement post the third test match, it sent shockwaves around the Indian media and the cricket fans. What was your reaction, Shri, when you first heard about Ashwin's retirement? And do you think whether it was the right move to do in the middle of a test series?
Yeah. A lot of questions around whether it's the right timing. I mean, it's not the first time a player is retired, an Indian player is retired midway after Dhoni. Obviously, he's taken leave out of his old CSK, like his CSK captain, if you want to call it that way. Uh, there are many reasons, possibly. I mean, I saw his interview. I don't know whether you've seen it. His interview with very good with Nasser Hussain and Michael Larson.
Yes, yes.
He gave this fact that after he has retired, Australian Cricket Australia, put up a video on their YouTube channel, like all his wickets, all Ashwin's
Yes,
wickets in
yes,
Australia.
yes.
And UK, England, with the Sky Sports YouTube channel, one of the best YouTube channels, best
Yeah,
commentary. They've
yeah,
invited him to a podcast with two best commentators, I feel, Sachin and Nasser Hussain. And they're very
yeah,
heartfelt chat. Indian Cricket Board, being the richest, I mean, they don't do anything on YouTube. I mean, I don't know. It's, I think, bcci.tv, their website has everything. I don't know what's their relationship with YouTube, but for a fan who just goes on YouTube, right? I mean, we don't go on any other websites except cricket websites, not BC. We don't go to BCCI website. So I think that's reasons for his retirement. Obviously, if you notice the last couple of years, overseas test cricket, we have not been picking him, management for some reason. I find it very strange. They're saying that they're balancing the score according to the wicket. But Australia never drops Nathan Lyon.
Yeah.
If you go back to the previous era, Shane Warne obviously was such a good bowler, never dropped. Anil Kumble
Uh,
never dropped in overseas cricket, test cricket. Why are they dropping Ashwin? And, I don't know why. So that is very strange. Even Gavaskar believes that those are excuses based on team balance, this and that. Ashwin should be playing most of the games, no matter where, because such a great cricketing mind. He's a good batter. I think they were looking for fielding, agility, and all that. It doesn't make sense. They're trying to be too progressive. I think the other reason is, I think Ashwin, being a very smart guy, would have checked in with the management whether he's going to play in the next couple of test matches. They would have said, we're not looking at you, we're looking at Sundar or Jadeja or whatever. And if you notice, there is not much domestic season. Next is the England Test Series in England. So again, he will not be picked there in many Test matches. So he, being a smart guy, he wanted to go out on his own terms, I guess. And obviously, they have Washington Sundar and all that. So
yeah, I think Sri, when you talk about, I mean, all that you've said makes a lot of sense, and the fact that he must have checked in with the management, and when we talk about when you said that Nathan Lyon doesn't never gets dropped, I guess when Ganguly used to captain, I think during that time our batting was so strong and consistent that we could rely upon them, but I guess with our batting for so many years not doing well, and ever since, if you've seen Shri, gone since Harbhajan Singh retired, we've always had Ashwin, but we have always depended on his batting abilities as well, and even Jadeja. So it's not that with Ashwin and Jadeja, we've not had to rely on them for their batting, because our batting has been so fragile over the years that we've had to rely on their batting. And then when you go to overseas, you need that one extra pacer instead of a spinner. And again, when you compare the batting capabilities of both Jadeja and Ashwin, for some reason, I think Jadeja has been able to perform a little better with the bat in overseas conditions. That's why he's got the opportunities as well. I mean, I do definitely feel, Shri, that Jadeja is a better batter than Ashwin in overseas conditions. Unfortunately, that's the route that they've taken to pick a spinner rather than first decide who is the better spinner of the two. So I guess that's how the team management has gone through. Whereas in Ganguly's time, Ganguly and Wright, they would pick Kumble full stop. And if there was a second spinner required in overseas conditions, then they would have Harbhajan Singh as well. If you see, we played Harbhajan Singh and Kumble in Headingley in 2002, and then we played both of them at the Oval in 2002. So it's not that they haven't played together, but I guess sometimes they have changed between Harbhajan and Kumble. But yes, the fact that Ashwin is the lead spinner should have gotten the nod in more test matches than he actually got in the overseas conditions. But then, why I ask you, Sri, the timing is that because in Melbourne and Sydney, I don't know, maybe you being in Australia would probably be able to tell me better. Melbourne over the years has become a better bowling surface than, if you remember, during some of the test matches in 4 or 5 years ago. Alistair Cook made that 244 in the Ashes in 2017. And then there was another test match a year later or a year prior to that where the Melbourne pitch was sort of condemned for being too slow. And then they made the pitch change a bit. It's more bouncy and all that. But even then, it helps the spinners more than Brisbane or any other track. And then when you go to Sydney, usually Sydney is a spin-friendly surface. So if Ashwin had not retired, probably he would have got chances. But then, as you say, he's a smart guy. He would have checked in with the team management to see whether he will be able to bowl. And probably, I mean, he won't be picked. So I guess that's how it is. It's very sad to see Ashwin. I mean, even the fact, Sri, that he left the very next day, he boarded the flight back to India. He retired in the middle of the season. I think it's all left a sort of a sour taste in the mouth.
it's been lingering for a while, actually. If you notice that he's been left out of the side many occasions, last couple of years. It's been said that he's been handling like a knee injury as well, which is what do you call standing in his way in the hectic international schedule. So that could
Yeah.
be a reason that he is obviously very smart enough to,
Yeah.
think about and like. I think the main reasons obviously being is the equation with the team management, and that's why it's as you say, it left a sour taste.
Yeah.
Had to face that with our like with Anil Kumble during
Yeah.
the early 2000s. He was given the
Yeah.
leading the side in the last Australian series in 2008, which was a controversial series, which I thought was a fitting farewell to Anil Kumble. I really thought that Ashwin would cross Anil Kumble's test match wickets
Yeah.
tally. He was
Yeah.
nearly, I think Ashwin's what, 537 or somewhere there.
Yeah.
And Nathan Lyon's breathing down his neck. He's just got 3 or 4 more wickets,
Yeah.
and then Ashwin. So, yeah, I mean, we have to look at it as Ashwin himself said. I mean, smile that it happened rather than cry that it's ended or something like that. So, I think
Yeah.
it's good to have had another legendary spinner after Kumble retired.
Yeah.
He's from 2010, 2011 to 2024, which is 13-year career, which is not bad. So I feel that going forward, India finds their next young spinner, like spin twins, like Harbhajan, Kumble, Ashwin, Jadeja, and then we stick with them. If we find 2 quality spinners, we stick with them, give them opportunities. Otherwise, Sid, who do you think will be able to get 500, 600 wickets if they are being dropped
Yeah.
overseas? So no one
Yeah.
will reach. Forget Muralidharan's record of 800 test wickets. Like even Kumble and Ashwin's record might be
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
reach. With Bumrah, I know he's a fast bowler, but his strike rate is so impressive. But he's 31 or something, right? And
Yeah.
he's just
Yeah.
got 180, 190, close to 200 wickets now.
Yeah. Yeah.
We get 400 wickets, or maybe think of Jimmy Anderson. Like, I feel that that's the thing I miss about in the current day cricket. Like, especially with Indian bowlers, I wish after Kapil Dev, there's no fast bowler who has reached that. Like Zahir Khan, I think reached 300 wickets. I think, right?
300.
But
Ishant Sharma also reached 300. Yeah.
yeah, Ishant Sharma, yes. But look at how long they had to play
Yeah. They had to play. True. True.
consistently.
No, I think,
Who is the best bowler?
yeah. No, I think Bumrah would, I mean, if he plays another 4 or 5 years of cricket, which I guess
Might
that's the
reach
max that
300.
he could play, he would reach somewhere near to 300 wickets, maybe 250, 270 wickets. But I don't see him reaching beyond 300, even though he has. I mean, look at Sri, his average now. I mean, his bowling
Yeah.
average after the 3rd test match
Yeah.
is 19.53.
Unreal.
I mean,
imagine
people are not talking. I mean, obviously, Ashwin's retirement made a lot of news here in India, but people are not talking about Bumrah's averages. I mean, we have been told that Sydney Barnes was one of the greatest bowlers with his average of around 16. Malcolm Marshall, even Alan Donald, and all these bowlers. But Bumrah is now in that league of Marshall and Sydney Barnes that way. So that's amazing. Sri, we don't have much time, but I want to talk to you now about the 4th Test match. Quickly talking about it, previewing it. It's starting tomorrow. The composition seems to be more or less the same. There is not going to be any change in the Indian team. I think Indian team is quite happy with what Nitish Reddy is providing them. But what do you feel about the Indian playing 11 for tomorrow's game, and how do you see the match panning out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a bit unsure as to the team combination. They might put in a spinner instead of Nitish Reddy, depending on the pitch and the conditions. Again, you're never too sure about all this. So that's one thing that I'm just hoping to, find out. But in terms of the main concern for India is if the Indian batters perform, especially Rohit and Kohli and Jaiswal. I think Rahul has been okay. He's been a revelation of sorts. He's like a new Rahul. He's like a bit more willing to kick in, stay there, hold his wicket. But these 3 people, Jaiswal, Rohit, and Kohli, and obviously Shubman Gill, he has to, it's time that he did well, but he can do better. Okay, so India's put a lot of faith in him for a while now, so it's time to step up. I think if they do well, I think bowling, Bumrah will be good. Yeah, Bumrah will be good, as you said. People are comparing him to Malcolm Marshall now because of his effectiveness. So yeah, so let's look at that. If the three batsmen do well, I think India will do well. It's a struggle because Head is going to be consistent. We've got Sam Constance, the new Australian cricketer. So
Yeah.
I think Australia is upbeat. If you look at the mood, Australia is upbeat. They are professionals. They will find ways to be impeccable, especially with bowling. They will not
Yeah.
give India runs. India has to bat like proper test playing team. Otherwise, India will be out of. It's a good chance India can win, but it's all up to the batting and bowling. Obviously, bowlers win games. Bowlers have
Yeah.
to stay, but I feel the batting is letting us down.
It's interesting. So Shri, thank you so much. The thing is that my battery is running out, and guys, so sorry, would have loved to have Shri a bit more, but I'm outside, so
Yeah.
don't have any other option. But it's great, Shri, that you've been able to do this with us. We were almost, guys, we were almost going to hang up on this with Shri being a bit busy, but thanks for your time, Shri. I hope to have you more often on the Essence Cricket Diaries, and let's hope for a wonderful Test match.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for having me. All the best. Take care.
Great. Thank you, guys. And we'll see you soon. There's going to be a review of each day of the test match with me. So do be tuned in to the SNS Cricket Diaries. Till then, take care. Have a lovely Christmas. Bye.
Yeah.